Hello everyone, my name is Katya and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this granny square scarf. It is an easy project, there is no sewing. I will show you how to join your squares as we go. It is a perfect scrap yarn project and you can make it any size you like. For this project you will need number 4 medium weight yarn. I chose black as my main color and then I chose 5 additional colors. And then you're also going to need your 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. We're going to start with the slip knot and a chain of 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slip stitch into the first chain to join. Here we made a ring, and into this ring we're going to work our double crochets. For round 1, we're going to start by chaining 3. This chain 3 stands as the first double crochet. Back into this ring, work 2 double crochets. Here's 1 and 2. With this chain 3, we have a total of 3 double crochets. Chain 2. And now work 3 double crochets back into this ring. I am holding on to my yarn tail as I work on my double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, and let's repeat again. We're going to work 3 double crochets into this ring, and then we're going to work a chain 2. Here's 1, 2, and 3 double crochets, and now chain 2. And let's go ahead and work one more set of 3 double crochets. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. And to end this round, we're going to slip stitch using the top of the third chain. So here is 1, 2, and 3 into this chain. Go ahead and slip stitch. Now don't fasten off yet. What I like to do is slip stitch to get to this chain 2 space. Here's 1, 2, and let's slip stitch one more, 3, and now go ahead and chain 1. And cut your yarn. And round 1 is complete. You can go ahead and pull on this yarn tail to tighten the center. And let's go ahead and work on round 2 next. Let's go ahead and start on round 2. And right over here where we ended round 1, we're going to go ahead and use this chain 2 space. And this is why we slip stitch to get to this chain 2 space, because it'll be easier to hide the yarn tail. So go ahead and insert your hook into that chain 2 space. And using our second color, we're going to wrap the yarn tail around the hook and pull through. Hold on to the yarn tails. And now go ahead and chain 3. This chain 3 stands as the first double crochet. Back into this chain 2 space, work 2 double crochets. And I am holding on to this yarn tails to work them in. Here's 1 and 2. With this chain 3, we have a total of 3 double crochets. Let's go ahead and chain 2. And back into this chain 2 space, we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Right here, we just worked on our first corner. We're going to go ahead and work our corner using the next chain 2 space. And into that chain 2 space, work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. And work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. we're going to go ahead and repeat same exact thing to this chain 2 space and this chain 2 space. So let's go ahead and work a corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, chain 2, and work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. And let's repeat same thing again with this chain 2 space. Into that chain 2 space, work 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, chain 2, and work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. And to end this round, we're going to go ahead and find the top of the third chain. So here's 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch. And now, instead of cutting our yarn, we're going to go ahead and slip stitch 3 times to get to this chain 2 space. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and cut your yarn tail. And pull out your hook, tighten it. And at the end of round 2, this is how it looks like. So right here we have our 4 corners. For round 3, we're going to change our color again, and same exact way. We're going to go ahead and find this chain 2 space where we finished our round 2. Insert your hook, wrap your new color around the hook, hold on to the yarn tails, and go ahead and chain 3. And now you can go ahead and work 2 double crochets back into that chain 2 space. Same as before, we need to work a corner. Chain 2 and work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. You can go ahead and cut this yarn tail. Right over here between the corners, we have this space. Into that space, we need to work 3 double crochets. So don't chain, just work 3 double crochets using that space. 1, 2, and 3. We're not going to chain, but we're going to work a corner using this chain 2 space. Into that chain 2 space, work 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So we're only chaining in between the double crochets where the corners are. In between the corners, we're not going to be chaining. Now chain 2 and work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. Right over here between the corners, we have this space, and into that space we need to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And let's repeat a corner using this chain 2 space. And to work a corner, we need to work 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. 2 and 3. Chain 2. And now work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. Let's repeat again. Between the corners, we have the space right here, and into that space, work 3 double crochets. Don't chain, just work 3 double crochets. And right over here is our corner, and into that corner, we're going to work a new corner by working 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and then work your 3 double crochets into the space, and then I'll meet you, and then we'll finish it together. I'm coming to the end of round 3, and right over here we're going to find the top of the third chain and slip stitch to end round 3. And I'm not going to fasten up yet, I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch to get to the chain 2 space. And once you're at the chain 2 space, go ahead and chain 1 and cut your yarn. Pull out your hook, tighten it, and round 3 is finished. Let's go ahead and start on round 4, same way. We're going to go ahead and insert a hook using that chain 2 space, wrap your new color around, hold on to the yarn tails and chain 3. This chain 3 stands as the first double crochet. Work 2 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. I am holding on to the yarn tails. Now let's go ahead and chain 2 and work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. And now that we finished working on our first corner, we get to cut our yarn tails, or you can do that at the end. And right over here between the corners, now we have 2 spaces. We have one here and one here. And into those spaces, we're just going to work 3 double crochets. So let's go ahead and work 3 double crochets using that first space. 1, 2, and 3. And now let's go ahead and work 3 double crochets using this space. So you're right over here, these 3 double crochets, you're going to skip them. You're going to work 3 double crochets using the space right here. Work 3 double crochets. Don't chain. 2 and 3. And now we're at the corner, and into this corner where the chain 2 is, you're going to work a new corner by working 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Here's 3 double crochets. Let's go ahead and chain 2, and now work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. And this is how it looks like. So right here we worked on our first corner. We have our 2 spaces right here. So we worked 3 double crochets here and 3 double crochets into that space. And then right over here we worked on our second corner. Let's go ahead and repeat. We're going to work 3 double crochets using the first space right here. Here's 1, 2, and 3. And right over here into this next space, work 3 double crochets again. 1, 2, and 3. And now we're just going to repeat. Work a corner here, and then right over here, you're going to work 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets into this space, and then a corner again, and then repeat, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. I'm coming to the end of round 4, and to end, we're going to end same exact way. We're going to slip stitch using the top of the 3rd chain. Here's 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and slip stitch. And let's slip stitch until we get to the chain 2 space. 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead and chain 1, cut your yarn. Pull out your hook, tighten it, and we're done with round 4. For round 5, we're going to start same way. We're going to go ahead and insert our hook using that chain 2 space where we finished round 4, and we're going to chain 3. This chain 3 stands as the first double crochet. Work 2 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space, chain 2, and work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. And you can cut this yarn tails. I'm going to leave mine for now. And right over here between the corners, now we have 3 spaces. We have 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And into those spaces between the double crochets, we need to work 3 double crochets. Here's 1, 2, and 3. And let's repeat. Find your next space and work 3 double crochets using that space. It's same exact pattern, it's just each round it grows, so we have 1 additional one to work on. So right over here, we're just working on the 3rd space by adding 3 double crochets into that space. And this is how it looks like. So we have our corner and we have 1, 2, 3 sets of 3 double crochets worked into the spaces. And into the chain 2 space, you're going to work your corner by working 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets, all worked into that same chain 2 space. You're going to continue on this round. So you're going to work 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then your corner, and you're going to repeat all around and finish it same way as we did before, and then I'll meet you back. At the end of round 5, this is how a granny square looks like. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the main color. And I used black as my main color to join the granny squares and to add a border. But for this video, I'm going to choose a different color so you can see better, because black is very hard to see. But you get to choose what color you like to use as your main color. The first square we're not going to join, so we're just going to work same exact way. But this time we're just changing up the color. We're just going to use main color. So mine was black, but for this video, I'm just using this color. Let's go ahead and start same way. We're going to chain 3 and work 2 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. Chain 2 and work 3 double crochets back into that same space. So we're just working on our first corner. And now we're going to work 3 double crochets using these spaces. So 3 double crochets here, 3 double crochets here, 3 double crochets here, and then 3 double crochets here. Continue working and I'll meet you at this corner. We finished working our 4 sets of 3 double crochets between the corner. And right over here where the chain 2 is, we're just going to repeat and work the corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. It's the same pattern as before. My yarn is stuck. And now you're just going to continue and repeat this pattern. You're going to work 3 double crochets into the spaces, so a total of 4. And then into the chain 2 space, you're going to work your corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and you're going to repeat and finish it same exact way. But you don't need to slip stitch to get to the chain 2. You can just cut your yarn once you slip stitch using the top of the 3rd chain. And then I'll meet you back. At the end of round 6, this is how it looks like. And right over here, we slip stitch using the top of the 3rd chain and we cut the yarn. You don't need to slip stitch to get to the chain 2. You're done with this square, the first one, and it is measuring at about 7.5 inches. To join the second square and the rest of the squares, what you want to do is you're going to start same way into this chain 3 space right here. You're going to go ahead and use the main color and you're going to work your corner. Same exact way, chain 3, work your 2 double crochets into that corner with the chain 2, and then work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space to finish this first corner. And then you're just going to continue and work your 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and I'll meet you right over here. Don't start working on the corner. I'll show you what to do. We finished working our first corner, and then we have our 4 sets of 3 double crochets between the corners. And right over here, we're going to start the second corner, but we're not going to finish it because we need to join our first square to this square. And I'll show you how that's done. Let's go ahead and start by working 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space. Now go ahead and chain only 1. To join, we're going to choose any of the chain 2 spaces. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to choose this one. And right over here, we worked our 3 double crochets and then we just chained 1. We're going to come underneath the chain 2. So go underneath with your hook. And right over here, bring your yarn right on top of it. And you're going to go ahead and slip stitch. So right over here, you did your first join and you're going to come back and work your 3 double crochets using that chain 2 space of your second square. So we're finishing our second corner, but at the same time, we joined the first square. So right here, This is what we worked on, and we did a join and we finished the corner. Let's go ahead and continue. Now we're going to join again. So right over here where the first square is, we're going to use the space between the 3 double crochets. So the first space, you're going to go underneath it, and you're going to go ahead and slip stitch again. And now using the space right here, you're going to work 3 double crochets. Again, we're going to find the next space in the first square, and we're going to go underneath that space, and instead of working 3 double crochets, we're just slip stitching. So right here, go underneath, bring the yarn over and slip stitch. Into the next space, you're going to work 3 double crochets using the second square. 2 and 3. So let's go ahead and repeat. We're going to go underneath the next space between the 3 double crochets of the first square. Go underneath, bring up your yarn on top, wrap it and slip stitch. And now using the second square into the space, you're going to work 3 double crochets. Let's join again. Right here, find your next space. And into that space, you're going to go ahead and slip stitch. So go underneath, wrap the yarn, and slip stitch. And right here, you're going to come to this space and work 3 double crochets into the second square, not the first one. The first one, we're just slip stitching. The second, we're finishing the 3 double crochets. Right here we have our next space, and into that space we need to slip stitch. So go underneath with your hook and slip stitch. And now we don't have any more spaces to work our 3 double crochets. We're going to come to the chain 2 space, and into that chain 2 space we're going to start working our corner, but we're only going to work 3 double crochets. Here's 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and you're going to come to this corner right here using the first square, going to that corner underneath, and you're going to slip stitch. And now we get to finish the corner using the second square. Let's go ahead and work on the corner by working 3 double crochets. And right over here, we finished joining our 2 squares. And let's continue. Now, all we need to do is just finish working this round using our second square. So we're done with the first one. We're just moving on with the second one. We're just going to work our 3 double crochets using the spaces, same as before. And then you're going to work 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets. Then you're going to work your corner, and you're just going to finish this square or this round, and you're going to slip stitch on top of the third. And this is how we join the squares. I'm going to finish this square and then I'll come back. Right over here, we finished attaching the 2 squares, and you're just going to repeat on this pattern. You're going to start with the next square and you're going to join using this area right here. Same way as we did this too. And you're just going to continue and make your scarf as large as you want it to be. For my scarf, I used a total of 10 squares, and I just used black color as my main color. Next, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I worked on the border. I'm going to use these 2 squares to show you how to work on the border, but it's the same thing using a longer scarf. We're going to start right where the chain 2 space is. Go ahead and wrap your yarn around the hook, pull through, chain 1, And right over here into this corner, work 4 single crochets. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now all we're going to do is we're going to work single crochets using the top of the double crochets from the previous round. So right here is my first one. I'm going to work my single crochet and then single crochet into the next double crochet stitch and then single crochet into the next. And again, here's my next 3 double crochets from the previous round. I'm just going to go ahead and work single crochets using those stitches. Continue working on your single crochets and I'll show you what to do right in over here in the space. Right over here is the join, and I just finished working my 3 single crochets, and right over here where we chained 1, we're going to go ahead and work 1 single crochet. You're going to skip all this and find your next area right here at the chain 2. We're going to work 1 single crochet. So using the corner spaces, so this is our corner here and then the corner here, we're only working 1 single crochet on this side and 1 single crochet on this side. And now we're just going to repeat using our double crochet stitches from the previous round. We're just going to work single crochets using those stitches. And you're going to continue all around same way. And don't forget the edges or the corners where it's the last corner, you're just going to work 4 double crochets and then 4 double crochets into this corner. And then you're going to repeat same thing until you come to the end right here. And to finish it, you're just going to slip stitch using the first single crochet slip stitch and you're done. If you like to add fringe to your scarf, go ahead and cut about 12-inch strips of yarn. You can use 4 or 2 for each space. You're going to fold it in half, find your big loop right in the middle, and you're going to bring your hook underneath using this corner right here into the chain 2. You can go ahead and insert your hook and then bring this loop, pull through. And once you have this big loop on your hook, you can go ahead and use these yarn tails and pull through. Tighten it and you're done. And then you can continue all along the side. You can use each single crochets or you can have spaces in between. It's up to you how you work on your fringe. But for me, I think I'm going to skip 1 stitch in between and then repeat. I'm going to insert my hook underneath, bring up my 2 strings of yarn, fold it in half, bring up a loop, place this loop on the hook, pull through, bring up a big loop using the hook. And now with your fingers, just use these yarn tails and bring it on the inside. You can even remove the hook, you don't need it, and just pull on them and tighten them. And then once I'm all done, I'm going to go ahead and trim the ends, make sure they're even. And that's pretty much it to this scarf. I'm going to continue and work on my fringe, but I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.